everyone, it's Darksick here again. Welcome back for another video. Now, back in the month of June, you'll recall that I played Dane's Bitter Shudderwock Shaman deck. That was a deck that got me over 2000 armor, and we went through, what, a 50-minute game? And my opponent was really sort of generous. They allowed me to play the Shudderwock turn after turn after turn, stacking those big amounts of armor. It was a really fun game, but because it went on for so long, that video became a learn more about Darkseeker video, and it was basically me talking about myself for 50 minutes, and that was pretty cool. And so I tried to replicate the same thing here with this deck. This deck here, the idea comes from Dane, but I think the deck was modified by Ruffle. And it is a deck that, I guess, tries to do the same thing with the armor gain. You've got the plated beetles, you've got the Undertaker, you've got the Shudderwock, so you just stack huge amounts of armor. But this deck is different to the Bitter Shudderwock Shaman deck that I played in June, because this deck has more of a pacifist approach, a more peaceful approach. So, for example, we play Saronite Taskmaster in the deck. On Death Rattle, you summon a taunt for your opponent. How generous! We also play Refreshment Vendor, which heals us and it heals our opponent. Again, incredibly peaceful, incredibly generous, aiming to do as little damage to our opponent as possible. And what is the win condition, you ask? The win condition is the Shudderwock with the armor gain. And basically, you bore your opponent into conceding when they realise they can't kill you because you've stacked so much armour. So let's have a look at the deck in action here now on the Wild Mode ladder. It may interest you to know that I've lost 7 games in a row with this deck. Basically got killed by secret mages, game after game after game. Just couldn't heal quickly enough. And I'd hoped to replicate another 50-minute game with this deck, with me just gaining loads of armor. Unfortunately, not really going to be possible. Because even if I get to play the Shudderwock, my opponents just concede. And we gain a little bit of armor, but certainly not 2000 armor like I did back in June. But yeah, Saronite Taskmaster there, giving our opponent a taunt. Incredibly generous, protecting our opponent's face from taking damage. Ooh, he wants to give me cards. He wants to give me more cards.
My hand is too full.
Ooh, Volcanoes goes.
Hand is too full.
Hag of the Scheme goes. Well, 2-cost Lotheb, pretty sweet.
I shall meet you.
So, 9 cards in hand. A lot of these cards are tools that will come in handy at some point in this game. But for now, it's just going to be pretty slow going.
What to do?
And I've got this Lotheb, but I'm happy to save him. Because a well-timed Lotheb can be game-winning, or can help you sort of survive, right?
Greetings, friend.
I just wish my opponent would play things a little bit quicker.
I wonder.
He is not your traditional Secrets Mage, as we've seen in research projects. So I'm going to assume that at some point in this game, at the pace at which he's been drawing cards, I'm going to assume that it's, what, some kind of freeze or Exodia mage or maybe a tempo mage that's trying to find Flame Wakers. We really want to find the plated beetles, because we've got the Undertaker in hand.
What to do?
So we want to get those plated beetles played as quickly as possible, and then play the Undertaker. And why is he taking so long? Come on, just play something. A friend of mine there asking for the deck code. I'm not sure if I should be giving this deck code out to people. As I say, I lost 7 in a row with this deck. That's not a good record. But then again, this is somewhat of a meme deck, right? It's not a serious deck. You're not going to be lathering up with this deck. It's a fun deck to play. And it honestly took him that long to play a secret and to play Doomsayer, really. Oh dear. Oh well. I think here sacrificing a Manatide Totem is absolutely fine. We'll draw 1 card from it, which is good, and then it dies. And we're not going to need that Manatide Totem going forward, because look at the size of our hand. We've pretty much got a near full hand.
Someday I'll be just like
And
you.
Sorcerer's Apprentice. Interesting. He's willing to throw that away. That's pretty brave.
That's incredible.
And Frost Nova throws that away as well.
My hand is too full.
Ooh, Geppetto. Now that could have come in handy, so it's a shame to lose that. Again, I'm holding off on this Lothar. At what point should I play it? Doppelgangster finally is something I can get onto the board, something I can play. But I suspect there will be, what, a Blizzard? Some kind of AoE to deal with this? He may be fearful of Evolve. We don't run that in this deck. Wow, another research project.
My hand is too full.
This is getting pretty dangerous actually for us. We're milling lots of cards now. This is pretty scary stuff. As long as we don't mill the Shudderwock, we should be fine. Oh, and there's also Grumble as well. We don't want to mill Grumble.
Time runs out on me.
He's been pretty liberal with his use of Frostbolts. He's been happy to throw them away. And speaking of liberal, I've been happy there to throw away that Healing Rain. Just want to free up some space in my hand, I think. Got these double hexes sitting there. Not sure what exactly we're going to do with them, or what we're going to need to target. Unless he plays another Doomsayer.
I wonder.
And as this game goes on and he draws through more of his deck, I've just got visions in my head of Flame Wakers coming down, of Giants coming down. Mana Cyclone. Okay, interesting. Ooh, the second plated beetle. This is good.
Such a shame.
Duplicate. Okay. Do you know, Volcano here seems fine. We kill off our old board. We kill off the beetles. Their death rattles are now in the pool for the Undertaker. And remember, the objective with this deck is not to do damage to our opponent. It is to set up that Undertaker turn and that Shudderwock turn. And there's the Flame Waker, or Flame Waker number 1, I should say. Now we have Devolve. So maybe this is a Devolve turn. Or actually, an Undertaker turn. That seems better. Let's get the Undertaker in play while we can. Yeah, this seems better. Because he'll play some spells, he'll do some things, it'll kill off the Undertaker. That's actually what we want to happen. And then after that, we can then devolve. Or we can hack the scheme. Or we can hex. We've got options. Alright, he's going all in here. This is his big turn. His big Flame Waker turn. Still going. Wow. The value. That's pretty impressive. So, yeah, that seems fine. And we heal.
My hand is too full.
Ooh, burns a Flame Waker. See, I think I was trying to test for counter spell there with the Devolve, and then we played the Volcano. Sorry, the Haggard Scheme. So, we've dealt with what?
What to do?
All of the Flame Wakers now? So what does he have left? And again, the aim is for us to get to a point where we can play the Shudderwock and start getting that armor and just hope our opponent does not concede. Because we are a pacifist, after all. We're peaceful. Okay, there's a bit of healing.
Funnel cakes! Get your funnel cakes here!
And we're healing him as well.
I see.
Because we're so generous. We may as well play Lotheb now. Not sure what kind of big spells we're trying to block, but because we're seeing the double Flame Waker turn, and we've survived that. Ah, there's Grumble. That's pretty good. And duplicate on frogs. Pretty awesome. Alright. May as well just play it again. Oh, Alaneth. Wait, he plays Alaneth in his deck? Interesting. Huh. So, we sacrificed our Lotheb there to the Doomsayer, trying to make ourselves prolong this game as much as possible, because we wanted to play the Shudderwock.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch.
So let's see now. How long will he humour us for?
My jaws.
How long will he hang around for before conceding? Back in June, my opponent was able to hang around until we got 2,000 armour. That was 50 minutes. Let's see if this mage is willing to sacrifice his time for us. Now, whatever spells he's discounted, it doesn't matter, because we're playing the Shudderwock, and we've got these Lotheb battle cries.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch.
This is so beautiful.
Well played.
My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. I am free. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch. My jaws that bite, my claws that catch.
So many Lotheb battle cries. And here comes the armour. And look, we're just giving him these taunts. Oh. Okay. He did not want to hang around. That's really annoying. I was hoping he'd have stayed for at least another 4 or 5 turns, right? But you saw the power of this deck, right, in that game. It worked. We were able to kill off our plated beetles. We were able to kill off the Undertaker. We were able to play the Shudderwock. We were able to get that healing value, the Lotheb value, the armor value, and force our opponent to concede. That is the ultimate power of this Pacifist Shaman deck. The problem, the challenge, like with any Shudderwock deck, is that you have to get to that point where you can play the Shudderwock and benefit from it, and not be dead prior to that. That's the real challenge. So, if you guys have any suggestions of other Shudderwock decks that I should play, please leave them in the comment section below. I would be interested to hear your thoughts. If you guys have any ideas of how we can modify this deck further, you know, so that I can survive a little bit longer against Secret Mages and still find a way to get to the end of the game and play the Shudderwock, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that too. So, thanks for joining me, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all again very soon for more One Word Fun.